Hassan is so desperate to defend his reputation that he's battling in the comments section against TMZ. Very interesting timeline we have right here. But this right here really sums up Hassan Piker.
Oh, I need some background noise.
Shout out to BG on the scene. He is probably the best on-the-street journalist over in Broadview right now.
This is Major Keltner of the Illinois State Police. This is an unlawful assembly in violation of Illinois State Statute via...
I think they were complaining about this device right here being an LRAD device, and honestly, it's the one that, I don't know if it's the one that microwaves your skin, but I know that there's one that like makes a noise that just makes it uncomfortable for you, so you have to move. You don't want to see America resulting in this type of anti-riot devices, but it's about time, I think.
Be subject to chemical agents, pain compliance technique, or reasonable force to effect an arrest.
Reasonable force, here we go. Unleash the hounds. There's no reason for this. We've only disrupted federal law enforcement from accomplishing a very reasonable task that every single civilized country does: enforces their borders, deports illegal immigrants. Why do we need people enforcing the law? We're just trying to stop you from enforcing our borders. We're offering flowers. The sheer delusion of these people. We offered you guys flowers while we were breaking the law and helping other people break the law. Why are you here? Why are you stopping us? You hear the dog. You hear the paint. No, they're ready to go, man. We're not your enemy. Very clearly you are. You're actually enemies of the state to me when you're protesting this. The majority of America, like Trump won the vote campaigning on fixing the border. And you're trying to say, we gave you flowers. Get a job. Public enemy number one. Dog disturbed by evil people because, yes, this dog's ready to go, man. Someone said he looks overstimulated. No, I think this is a guy. Is this... Wait, hold on, chat. Is this a German Shepherd or is this the Belgian... One of them is more aggressive, I would say? That's the Malinois. Am I even saying that correctly? Malinois. Malinois? Belgian. Okay, whatever. This is Dodger fans. Unfortunately, they're, from the ICE protest. Princess, but yeah, no, she's ready to go, man. That's a working breed. She's finally getting she's finally getting out there to do what she's been training for 20 years. Doggy. Oh, he's excited. This is terrible to me. He's ready to go, bro. The mobile field. What's this? Where they had the samurai cop cavalry. They had them on horseback. Actually, I'm kind of blocking this. This is the mobile field force with a guy on horseback, and he's holding one of the super IQ dogs. Yeah, they're better than the German Shepherds, apparently. Super badass dogs. But then this is very much set them. They even have the ICE's cool sign. I don't know what that's about, but they're upset. They're like, get the dogs out of here. Why do you think that can stop the very ineffective fighting force I'm seeing here? should have guessed most of us are police guys sitting out a police head. Be taken seriously. That's a second dog. He has no tail. What kind of dog is that? Oh, I should have used this guy as a thumbnail. Why didn't I? This dog goes more serious than the other one. Darth Liberal, yes. He looks happy. I mean, he's ready. They're ready. Yeah, they're ready to go. And eventually, there's... I don't like the idea that they keep on marching out their people that are meant to look like pastors or priests. I don't know if they necessarily are, but they're just doing it for the optics of saying, oh my God, the Trump administration is going against our religious leaders. I don't know if he's legitimately won, especially after hearing what he said. He is like Batman. Where are they? Oh, where are the kids? If there are children missing, terrifying. But the idea is, how many missing kids came over during the Biden administration, where they said they knew they were being trafficked in? The Biden administration was actually assisting in the trafficking of kids to God knows where. Are you talking about the missing children that came in during Biden's porous borders, with all these NGOs funding them, and them going God knows where? Or are you just saying, hey, look, I know, I'm well aware, because if I'm out here on a protest, I'm well versed and aware of the situation that's occurring at the border enough to waste my what day is this? To waste my first was weekend, right? No, Friday. I'm willing to waste my Friday afternoon. So obviously, I find this very important. But if he's willing to be out there on a Friday afternoon, he should know about what happened during the Biden administration, how many missing kids were there. The idea that during Obama's administration was when the kids were in cages, not the Trump's kids in cages. If he cares about them so much, why is he out there at the Broadview ICE facility, where I don't believe any kids are there? Why isn't he out there trying to figure out where those other missing children went? Why isn't he doing a Sound of Freedom, like, I forget his name, but the guy from the Sound of Freedom's based on? If he really cared, or is this just for social media likes? He's just an agitator. Very sad. Wasn't Mel Gibson, guys. Proof of anybody disappeared? Because they keep on just saying everybody that gets arrested is disappeared. So that's why it doesn't even register with me saying, oh, the kids disappeared. It's like, yeah, but you say a violent predator gets arrested somewhere in Los Angeles, or they raid a garment manufacturing facility known for trafficking and money laundering, and they say they're making people disappear. It's like, no, those were criminals they went after. They arrested them. Tim Ballard, yes, thank you, Tim Ballard. That's it. Why doesn't he pull a Tim Ballard if he really cares about the kids? Because there is a good cause he could take up, but this isn't it here. Says he's a pastor.
Teachers and social workers, people who are bringing songs and dances while you are here.
Songs and dances. See, that's how you know they're not serious. They know they're not going to accomplish anything because they're just talking about, we're doing songs and dances, guys. We brought you flowers. We're not your enemies. Put the dogs away while we sit here for our social media moment. Because honestly, I like Brendan Goonschwager, BG on the scene, so I'm not going to try to criticize anybody that's saying their press or cameras or whatever. But how many of these people are not either street journalists or not influencers trying to make a name for themselves by protesting ICE? If that ratio is 100%, there's zero activists, there's just people that want to grow a social media following, and there's people that are trying to be street journalists. If that's what this is entirely comprised of, no one actually trying to find out where the kids are. No one that's actually trying to find out if they're arresting American citizens. If it's all just because I want to become famous online, it's not serious. Yeah, that's what happened during the Biden administration. Kids, no parents, Nobody knew who they were, but they were putting them on overnight flights, flying them to who knows where. And I forgot what Democrat were they asking? What Democrat were they asking? They said, hey, what about these secret overnight flights? Trafficking kids all across the country. What's going on with that? And they said, it's not overnight flights. These are early morning flights. And it's like, good God, they're not even denying it anymore. It's early morning flights. It's sad. Let me turn Was it? Who was it? Jen Psaki. Yes, yeah, exactly. That was the press secretary. I think what they called it. It was the press secretary saying, it's not overnight flights, guys. It's just early morning flights. See, if we were flying them overnight at midnight, but when we fly them at 4 a.m. to distract everybody because they obviously get their own line in TSA and we just send them to who knows where, that's okay. That's okay. It is ridiculous. Oh, he's spitting. Protect the kids. How many people have histories of domestic violence, have histories of assaults, have terrible histories where they have Interpol notices, they've been wanted for terrible crimes back home, and they need to stand trial in the country they came from. They're sending them back to where justice can be served, not where they can be hidden by sanctuary cities, where they can be arrested for new crimes in America, but they won't allow DHS in the courtroom to deport them after they lose their cases. Because here's the thing. This is Hot Dog doing it. But I can't take them seriously. Everybody here would predators sanctuary cities won't allow them to figure that out. They're going out there and arresting, going after people that are known felons, that are known criminals. They say it's Tom Holman says it's what's the word I'm looking for? When they go out there to arrest them as a known felon, collateral damage. If they go out to a Home Depot saying we're looking for Juan, that John, Jim, and Tom, also illegal aliens, they're gonna arrest these 4 guys too. So it's collateral. They're not going after everybody just because they're working their job. They keep on lying about that because they're just working. I can't. He's an idiot. I want to know that too. So. Finally, 6 p.m. It's restriction. More than reasonable to say that.
I'm Commander Will, Cook County Sheriff's Police. So this is what happened. My guys are gonna come up and give you a disperse order. They're gonna push you out. It's 6 o'clock. We're not trying. We're here. I understand you have your amendment right to protest, right?
Perfect. Protest. I don't like them blocking the street. But protest. Have your voice be heard. You have a First Amendment. Maybe you guys got to go to the grass here. Maybe we have a designated area for you to protest. By all means, do that. But now you are violating dispersal orders.
I'm asking you a favor. Listen. Listen. You can yell and say whatever you want to me. It's all you can. It has nothing to do with that. I'm here to do it. Protect your rights. Anybody else? I didn't do anything to you.
But the idea that he's standing next to a dressed in a hot dog costume with a gas mask on makes me feel like these are all just costumes. Really what they are. That guy's not really a hot dog. Just like that. Not really a priest, in my opinion. We brought you flowers so we can make
With Bluetooth speakers and
give a call to disperse. But listen, I can take a vote. We can have a
This is an autonomous zone. We're gonna take a vote, just like how we all as a country voted to say we want deportations. But by all means, pull this colorful crowd of people that I definitely care about their opinion.
and we can vote on whether first. How does that work? We can
What do they say? Beat cops is the beat cop is the last thing standing in the world where he just decides things. He's just telling you right now, no, unlawful assembly, you go. There's no vote. I'm sending you away. Ridiculous. When you have a sheriff's deputy coming out giving a Dothraki chant about saying, hey, we're not doing this democratically, and there's a police dog behind him barking, maybe now's a good time to disperse. You don't need to hear them. When a dog is biting you, you know it's time to go. Can't do this, man. Watch them. Watch them do this. Watch how powerless you and your hot dog man are to a police dog.
Well, listen, hey. I'm not saying we have to do this. I'm telling you guys.
He's being so nice about it, too. It's been multiple hours. I think the first video BG on the scene had from this was from noon, so I imagine he probably recorded it at 11 a.m. and then posted it afterwards. I'm thinking they've been out there for a full time, like a full shift. These guys are ready to go home. They're tired of babysitting these people. I'm sure there's actual crimes occurring in a suburb of Chicago, Illinois. They're ready to go out there and do real police work, not babysitting idiots in hot dog costumes. It's time to go, guys. And yet, he's being so overwhelmingly nice about it. That's likely why he's the sheriff, I believe. The Dothraki guy in the background getting ready to charge in there. He scares me more than the police dog.
Look at how many there are of you and look at how many there are of us.
Yeah, this is not a Disney movie, guys. This is reality. Yes. You're unarmed, and they got police dogs. It's time to go.
Bro, I've used enforcement orders. Guys can go there all you want.
Oh, you're fucking kidding me.
It's stand over there. That's it. We're not gonna do anything.
This is the Broadview Police Department. It is now 6:00 p.m. The executive order is in effect.
He gave them a
You
bedtime.
are ordered to leave the area via Lexington. It is now 6:00. If you fail to leave the area,
And the sad part is, how much is this costing the taxpayer? Because this is coming out of local state money. This is not like DHS. This is not ICE. This is not like CBP. This is, I think it's Cook County Sheriffs. It's local police, and likely, I don't know how much. This is, I don't want to say in the millions, but it's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars to get these guys out there.
you will be arrested. This is your last dispersal order. It is 6:00.
Oh, your flower. So it's costing a small fortune, all the money. F around, find out, because eventually they go in there. It's not the biggest thing, but they work it. Is that a Sonic the Hedgehog?
It was a good. Now that you did the job, I guess you ain't that damn bad after all. Well, come to think of it, word of advice. Next time, bathe before coming to a job interview.
Nice. Yes, exactly. They are too nice of them, so they're able to get away with it. This is frozen.
My shop, my rules. You follow, or you fuck off.
Pretty easy to finally disperse them when they actually had the will to do it.
Oh, you want a guarantee, huh? Well, maybe you should try Shamway.
Here's the thing is, if they can't even stop a small police force being polite saying move back, what makes them think if there actually were invaders? People from another country coming over, doing nefarious routes, and taking over entire blocks, taking over entire parts of their city, and enforcing Sharia law. Do they think they could stop them? No. But yet, they're just out here signaling. It's very, very sad, because it's not the only place they started to actually enforce a law. Over in Portland, Oregon, where they're also protesting, they're starting to take it seriously. Because they've been having issues over there for a long time. They even have put boards up on the walls because there's been so much graffiti. And their numbers have significantly dwindled. See, they used to have all those guys in the fun little inflatable costumes, but I think since they started to mace the little events, yeah, arrests are finally occurring just because you have a fun little light up reindeer mask, reindeer lights. It's not changing the fact that you're breaking the laws. Antifa inflatables, yes. What's up, baby sunshine? They're finally arresting him over there. And then also, this is the shared illusion of what they think, why they're protesting. Shout out to David Medina over there.
So I should jump the border and come here illegally.
Jump the border and come here illegally. You said that. He didn't say
No,
that.
he said that. I have it on camera.
Immigration does take too long, but you don't think that's
So we should break the law because of that? No, we should break the law.
The law doesn't exist on stolen land. It's absolute nonsense. You don't want to, but I bet you, with absolute confidence, if you say, okay, laws don't exist on stolen land, if you nobody should do this. But if somebody were to follow these people home that say, laws don't exist on stolen land, if you say, okay, well, yeah, laws don't exist on stolen land. Wherever you live, wherever your apartment is, it's stolen land. So I'm gonna help myself to a sandwich out of your fridge. I'm gonna help myself to watching television on your couch. Like, they understand property. They just don't understand Trump might be right about something. It's ridiculous. It's a construct. If someone snatched the helmet off her head saying property's a construct, I can take this too, they would understand it.
The law doesn't exist. She said the law doesn't exist. Hey, wait, hold on.
And the sad thing is, the people that are most vocal about this are the most exposed. She's the most vulnerable to being, I guess we can't say anything in PG-13 ways, but it's like, this person here, I want the law to protect her. I want there to be a criminal justice system to make certain if someone was to attack them because the predators, we should have that. But this is the person that's shouting the loudest, saying, abolish all laws, abolish all law enforcement, all cops are bad. Because they don't understand the idea that peace and security is like the most unnatural thing in society, in nature as a whole. Safety is not guaranteed. And yet they're trying to say, hey, we built a society where a small woman can walk around and they're going to be attacked. And they're saying, you know what? I have all this safety. Let me try to peel back all the reasons I feel safe enough to be out here at night. Because in the real world, in the third world, that actually has no police, it actually has corruption in the police department, this is not something that they just feel free to do.
No, hold on. Hey, hold on. I don't want to misquote you. Can you say that again? I don't want to misquote you.
To keep you in your place. I am so irritated at the idea that we just get so many people, as I'm obviously not a white person, that say, you are Asian, therefore the Democrats own you. You can't kiss up to the white man, because the Republicans are the white man, and you know, the Democrats should be able to do whatever they want with SNAP benefits, with open borders, with corruption because the Democrats own you. As that guy over there is black, I'm Asian. My inbox is filled with people trying to say the white man is tricking you because you want closed borders and you want fraud to not be in our welfare system, and you want law and order in the streets, and you don't want the homeless industrial complex to just slap that paycheck or every year. I should just be owned by the Democrats. But I would venture to guess they are, and they think they own me and my vote because I happen to be a minority, and to get back in my box because they think that being a minority is the only thing they need to do to earn my vote. Ridiculous.
It's fabricated by white people. It's fucking
It's like all those people that say the R word, the S of they literally think they are doing that to each other and worse. This is what and she likely votes. Yes, they hate minorities more than any racist would. This is university programming, exactly. That's what it is. Who teaches this to these fools? Other fools like this, because they go online, they listen to Hassan Piker, and they end up getting arrested like this. Because they finally get arrested on the ground. Lots of it. If not her, because I remember that black helmet. Literally getting carried away. Over time, because they just didn't have many of them left.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
Insane. Out there in the streets, getting angry that law enforcement is happening. Like they're literally yelling at Home Depot, regular hourly Home Depot employees, not the people that are doing the ICE arrests, not the management that has let the illegals congregate in their parking lots for the last few decades. No, this well-to-do person with a getting mad at your regular hourly worker that has nothing to do with nothing. You get mad at him because he's supporting their workers.
No.
You're fine?
We're gonna ask you to leave.
You don't want to look at it?
No.
You don't want to hear it?
He's doing a job. He doesn't have time for activism. I mean, who knows what time this was at? But it's like, I have something to do. I got bills to pay. I'm not here to coddle you in your, essentially your high school project about activism. This is that.
We're customers.
You can send it to our media relations.
Yeah, send it to our Nick.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know if she is the common Home Depot customer. Just gonna venture a guess. What's the other girl wearing? Arrest Trump, not migrants. Good luck with that. Because when 60 Minutes, and they even deceptively edited this video, I don't have that video pulled up, but when 60 Minutes tried to get Trump to say, hey, these deportations have, you know, they show families getting separated, like we all knew. They were just going to get the worst footage they could possibly get, do a montage, and shove it in Trump's face. See, enforcing the law makes people sad sometimes. Do you want to just throw away the law? Because sometimes things look bad. You know what? Forget enforcing the law. It makes me look bad.
I've been watching videos of ICE tackling a young man being used in a Chicago.
Subtract the fact that she was pushing up against ICE before that, I believe, in that incident. But a lot of them are, they run up, they ram ICE with their car, they push and that is ICE's fault. It doesn't look good. Like, I always hate the idea that a long time ago I worked in security. I hope this is but the 10-year-old stole something small, and he's shouting and screaming and yelling and being all upset because it's. But it's like, hey, we're just trying to get our shit back. Like, there's a process. We're just gonna talk to you, whatever. Other people that just opened a store near us runs over and says, it's just a t-shirt, you gotta let him have it, like, why are you doing this much? And it's like, dude, what are you talking about? You're a store right next to ours. Like, what impacts us is gonna impact you guys later on. We can't just say, because he's having a meltdown over being arrested, we need to throw out all law and order, and I need to lose my job protecting the assets of a company that's paying me to protect them. It was just interesting for me to see that guy that was all yelling and screaming at me for making an arrest. His store shut down, I believe, within 6 months. Like, brand new store, nice location, in a place in LA that it was not cheap. And within, I believe, 6 months, he was out of business because he thought, you know what, you just gotta let them have it. Because they yell and they scream when they don't, and they can't have something for free. And it's like, no, we're not their parents. We're not their caretakers. There needs to be some semblance of law.
These raids gone too far.
He said, these scenes look all bad. Are you going to stop? And he's like, nah, we're not going far enough. Trump is the single greatest president of America, and likely will be. I think J.D. Vance will be great when he gets in office because he's going to beat whatever the Democrats bring up. But I like J.D. Vance. But if you saw J.D. Vance, J.D. Vance in interviews, he does great just like Trump. But if you see him in speeches, maybe he was very emotional, but he just doesn't. J.D. Vance doesn't inspire like Trump does. He's not as good of a charismatic speaker as Trump is. Very few people in this universe are. But Donald Trump, I mean, he is just peak. I don't give a fuck energy.
Fair enough, because we've been held back by the judges, by the liberal judges, who put in Biden and Obama.
You're okay with those tactics?
Yeah. Because it's gonna look bad. Law and order looks bad. From somebody sitting there wagging their fingers, say, oh, this looks bad. From someone that's never physically detained somebody in their life. From someone that's never seen what happens when you have to give somebody their medicine. They're breaking the laws, they're doing terrible things, they're harming other individuals. It never looks good when you have to detain them. Law and order, when you take out an aggressive person, you can't take them out with flowers, with a nice dance in an affordable costume. No, you meet aggression with aggression. This is always gonna look bad and shit, yet she's like, wait, we can't just sunshine and happiness away from crime?
Yeah, because you have to get the people out. You know, you have to look at the people. Many of them are murderers. Many of them are people that were thrown out of their countries because they were criminals.
More recently,
And just, no, they think this is a gotcha moment, but it isn't. They have no semblance of what it takes, because in, I would say, best case scenario, over, I believe this is Chicago, best case scenario, they take over entire blocks and say, you know what, we're just squatting here for free.
The courtyard of a Rogers Park apartment complex echoed with the voices of renters and tenant advocates, united in protest against what they describe extreme rent hikes and unsafe living conditions across several buildings.
I believe this is a group of illegals too.
Around Fargo and Damien. Tenants from 4 buildings owned by the same landlord came together.
4 buildings, one block, forming a union of I want free stuff. Not even an
Right now that ICE is terrorizing our community.
ICE is terrorizing our community.
Landlord is trying to nearly double the rent, says another longtime renter. Tenants say ramped up immigration enforcement has made it challenging for them to go to work. They currently pay between $900 and $1,500 a month, and as of October, they're facing rent increase of $600 to $700. The union has made efforts to negotiate with the landlord, calling for necessary.
Why does the landlord need to negotiate with the union? That's why they're doing it on purpose. They want owning property to be so unprofitable because our laws are so tenant friendly, squatter friendly, that it's not even worth it to own property anymore because they want the state to take it over, just like what they're trying to do in New York City.
Limiting rent hikes to $50 per year and protecting tenants from eviction. They've warned that if the requests are not met, they are prepared to strike.
It's more than just rent. It's a fight for dignity.
Wait. Prepared to strike? They don't work for them. They all need to be evicted. And ICE needs to be at this apartment complex. This should be the biggest target over something, saying, hey, they're living rent-free, they're not paying rent, they're all afraid to go to work because they don't want to get deported because they're likely illegals. This is the best case scenario. That this is what happens when they come to the country.
For justice, community, for all tenants across the city.
Tenants say if their landlord doesn't address their demands, they'll move forward with the rent strike starting November 1st.
You need to cater to the demands of people that are here illegally. That's what's happening right now. That's what the The people that are protesting in Broadview, Illinois, with what I think is a fake priest outfit and the Taco Bell outfit, not the Taco Bell, hot dog outfit. That's what they're protesting, so they can take over entire city blocks and say, we're not paying rent because Trump. Share delusion.
Of a Rogers Park apartment.
But then, yeah, that was the best case scenario. I would say this is worst case scenario, and this is not something that just Fox News is making up. This is real.
He's brilliant. He's going to be working to make sure that individuals who got Social Security numbers in this country should be using them for the right thing.
The craziest thing about the Social Security numbers that I recently realized is they're not unique to you. What my Social Security number is could also be your Social Security number. It's just tied to my name. But how many Social Security numbers did they issue to illegals when they came here? It's like, oh, here's your temporary work authorization. Could you get a driver's license with it? Yes. Could you get a real ID with it? Yes. Could you possibly register to vote? It would be illegal, but I don't think there's a system in there that catch you from doing that. Scary stuff.
And they shouldn't be on our benefit programs. You know, we have over 6,000 individuals that have been identified through their work already that have been on the terrorist watch list, that they are known criminals.
This is a major concern, and yet you got a guy in a hot dog costume outside Broadview, Illinois, saying...
Madam Secretary, how does that happen?
It happens. There's going to be a lot of work to clean it up, but just in the last 4.5 years, we've had over 9 million people get Social Security numbers that are not U.S. citizens. So they may be people who have some
The problem that they said didn't exist is so much worse than we ever knew.
sort of legal status, but a lot of them are illegals that were given a Social Security number in just the last 4.5 years that we're going to have to figure out if they should be here, if they are here legally under a program, and if they are here illegally, then they certainly shouldn't be using that Social Security number to be on our programs, and they should be removed or given the opportunity to go home on their own. That's the one thing President Trump would like, is everybody to be given the opportunity to go home if they would wish to.
Voluntarily self-deport. Why is that a bad thing?
He's going to be working.
Yeah, one, it's not happening. Two, it is happening, but it's not that bad. But here's the shocking thing, because remember, Elon Musk isn't just some guy with a certain mental capacity, but the idea that he's not just a guy that's making rocket ships and electric cars. He is someone that worked in government. He was in Doge. He was investigating what was happening with our tax dollars and finding rampant fraud. So when he goes on Joe Rogan to tell him, this is what this is really about. It's not about, it is about voting. It is about congressional districts. It's all about all that stuff. It's not about, protecting families and no kids in cages. It's about fraud. It's about getting paid because all these government, these liberal states are severely in debt, and they're using this as a way to extract money from the federal government, my tax dollars and your tax dollars, to fund themselves and their shady projects that never seem to be completed.
They were also giving out like debit cards with $10,000. So it's not just about medical care.
Yeah. I remember that was a scary thing, is when you would see them come to the border and they would get their debit card. They would get their free flight to wherever they wanted to go. That was insane as it is, but you still had lots of immigrants coming through the border, sneaking in through, San Diego County. You had them using boats. There's like dinghy boats to just crash them to the beach and then run off and get picked up by a black SUV and disappear. If there was all these benefits to them coming through the illegal but allowed way, why would any of them sneak in unless they're people that we definitely do not want in the country? Scary.
The Democrats mention medical care because they're trying to prey on people's empathy. And then they imagine, oh wow, somebody has a desperately needed medical procedure, and shouldn't we maybe take care of them in that regard?
It's sad because who was the lady that, I think it was a lady, that was trying to climb over the border in El Paso, Texas, I believe. No. Eagles Pass, Texas. Goes up on the gate, falls, gives herself a slight concussion, and that's costing the American taxpayers $10,000 to give her medical care. And it's like, well, no, you are an invader. You were coming into the country illegally. Why send them back to the country they came from to get medical care? I know there's a humanitarian aspect to it, but honestly, to me, we don't have a responsibility to take care of invaders. It almost just promotes it to happen more.
But they want to divert the Medicaid funds and turn it into a slush fund for the states that goes well beyond emergency medical care.
And
New York and California would be bankrupt without without the massive fraudulent federal payments that go to those states to pay for illegals.
California going bankrupt having illegals in the state is eye-opening for the aquarium. Slush fund is where they get a whole bunch of money in the state where it's like, we need to fund homelessness in California, Los Angeles. We have so many homeless people. So you know what? Let's vote for something that says we're going to fund $2 billion of tax money in a slush fund to say, okay, we're going to give them housing, we're going to give them needles, we're going to give them all these different services. And then you have these people in the homeless industrial complex saying, I'm going to provide empathetic tapping. This is a real thing over, I think it was in Portland or Seattle. We're going to give them tapping stuff. It's only going to be for women. It's only going to be for daytime hours. But we're going to give you empathetic tapping therapy for homeless people, and I'm going to get a $500,000 salary to do it. Nobody tracks how many homeless people I have. Nobody looks to see if I'm actually even doing it. But you have this slush fund that just pays for all of it, that it just goes somewhere.
I have a cat that identifies as a mustache.
Fresh says, man, it's always been this way. The truth comes out. Very sad that this is what it's taken for us to find out how badly our tax dollars are being misused.
How would they be bankrupt after that?
They wouldn't be able to balance their state budgets, and they can't issue currency like the Federal Reserve can.
Yes.
And so their ability to balance budget is dependent upon illegals getting funding?
Yes.
The scandal. So there are hundreds of billions of dollars of transfer payments from the federal government to the states. Those transfer payments, the states self-report what those transfer payment numbers should be. So California,
because they keep on saying we have all these homeless people, and then it's crazy how they kept on saying homeless numbers are growing. We're spending billions of dollars to solve homelessness. It keeps on getting worse. But then all of a sudden, when Newsom needs a campaign on bringing homelessness down, they have the people that are out there responsible for tracking it saying, there's more homeless people. This was on like local evidence. There's more homelessness, but his hours to count homeless went down. They can't count after dark. And also, people that are living in RVs are no longer homeless. So by default, it already makes the number go down. And the idea that the homelessness number went down because more of them died on the streets suggests that not only are you juking the stats, but they're also dying on your streets. The number just kept on getting bigger, but they're just going to make them reflect whatever they want them to reflect, because they're not about actually solving something. They're about protecting this coveted slush fund and winning elections.
And New York and Illinois lie like crazy, and say that these are all legitimate payments. Well, these days I think they're even admitting that they literally want. So you get these transfer payments. Possibly think of, and these are self-reported by the state, and at least historically there was no enforcement of California. New York, Illinois, and other states, when they would lie, there was no actual enforcement to say like, hey, you're lying. These payments are fraudulent. Now, under the Trump administration, the Trump administration does not want to see hundreds of billions of fraudulent payments to the states. And the reason we have this is because the hundreds of billions to create a financial incentive to have this giant magnet to attract illegals from every part of Earth to these states. If that is turned off, the illegals will leave because they're no longer being paid to come to the United
States. Because we offered them so many benefits over here. I just remember they used to say like, America was founded on immigrants. No, America was founded by pioneers. They came here to build something out of nothing, and also deal with the plagues and deal with the natives and deal with all sorts of. There was no running water. Pioneers are not the same thing as people saying, "Hey, I have anxiety. Give me EBT." Not the same thing whatsoever. I think your Vice saying, wait until that dude Katie Hobbs becomes our next governor. She'll treat us like the employee she fired. Is Katie Hobbs the one that had the California, that lady that like when she was on a live stream of some sort? I think her governor's over. I think it's going to be down between Kamala Harris and Chad Bianco, the Riverside County Sheriff, which I think Bianco can win. I I think Trump, they eliminate the filibuster, they jam through voter ID, what is it, I forgot what else it was, but they jam through voter ID finally, and then we have all these states like New Jersey gets flipped red, and then we have places like California that gets a Republican governor. I think that's what it's gonna happen.
States and stay here.
Wow.
And then they will lose a lot of voters. The Democratic Party will lose a lot of voters.
And they would have a very difficult job if this is kicked out of reintroducing it to the
Yes.
especially once things start normalizing.
Yes. So, like, in a nutshell, the Democratic Party wants to destroy democracy by importing voters.
We're saving democracy. Donald Trump wins the popular vote. That's democracy failing. There's the party projection.
And the Republican Party disagrees with
And
that.
the ruse is that if you don't accept what they're doing, then you're a threat to democracy.
Yeah.
Yes.
As they try to destroy democracy.
Yes.
By importing voters.
That is literally what they are doing.
People to only vote for them and overwhelming the system.
Yeah. And by the way, it's a strategy that, if allowed to work, would work.
Yeah.
And in fact, has worked.
Has worked in
California is
California.
supermajority Democrat.
Yeah.
And there's so much gerrymandering that occurs. It's crazy.
Yeah, we'll get more into the gerrymandering over there, but it's eye-opening to know this isn't about healthcare. This isn't about helping the poor, escaping persecution. This is about elections. This is about paying for so they can move money into a slush fund and pay their friends on the back end. That's always been the goal. Say, oh yeah, they're defrauding us, but I still feel that.
1981. Early into the decade, and things were moving fast.
Okay, units, travel plans. I need to be in New York on Monday, LA, and Tuesday. Wednesday, LA, and Thursday, New York, and Friday. Got it? Got it.
Well, maybe not that fast. Just a year into the budding 80s, 1981 would see a slew of new heroes.
So I'm sure to get most of the items I need.
Iconic catchphrases.
Pardon me, would you have any Grey Poupon?
And some of our most important cultural discoveries.
What did you say this was again?
Today, we're chronicling 1981 from January to December and talking about the news, culture, sports, and entertainment, and all that was weird in the year. This is Timeline. Today, it's all 1981. But before we get going, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History channel and let us know in the comments below your favorite 80s memory. Now, are you ready to get on to 81?
That's happening.
This is 1981. On January 12th, Dynasty premiered, and America was introduced to the Carringtons, a filthy rich family from Denver, Colorado.
Good evening, Mrs. Carrington. And how has your day been?
Dynasty was created to counter another show about filthy rich people, with the wildly successful Dallas on CBS. Flash forward to December 4th, CBS would counter ABC's counter with Lorenzo Lamas and the show Falcon Crest, a show about filthy rich people, but this time they're in Napa Valley.
Chase is of the opinion that vineyard is his to keep.
You know you gotta let me know this.
On January 16th, while claiming he was walking out of a Detroit bar, ex-heavyweight champion Leon Spinks was jumped and cold-cocked by robbers.
Police say Spinks reported his assailants left him naked.
When Leon regained his senses, he found out the muggers had stolen not only $45,000 of jewelry, but also his gold teeth. We're not sure if they got the fillings as well. Sticking with boxing, 3 days later on January 19th, the greatest of all time might apply to Muhammad Ali's non-boxing life, when on January 19th, the ex-heavyweight champ literally talked the man off the ledge. It was in Los Angeles when a despondent man threatened to jump off a high-rise building. Ali drove down to the building and talked to the man, telling him, "You're my brother, I love you, and I couldn't lie to you." Soon after, Ali put his arm around the man and guided him back inside. We'll see Ali again by the end of the year. On January 20th, Iran released 52 Americans who had been held hostage for 444 days, just minutes after the presidency had been passed from Jimmy Carter to Ronald Reagan. The hostages were placed on a plane to Tehran as Reagan delivered his inaugural address.
Some of the hostages are physically and mentally tired. 2 of them are said to be having difficulty walking.
Low wing doors and a stainless steel body, the DeLorean was probably the most 80s car ever.
The DeLorean. Gull-wing doors rise effortlessly, beckoning you inside.
Rocket recently assassinated J.R. Ewing.
I'll get that Charlie Rocket if it's the last thing I ever do.
Rocket told Tilton. Whoops. Rocket was fired before the season finale.
Come on! Why you gotta take 4 days to reload a fucking gun?
On March 30th, in an attempt to impress actress Jodie Foster,
Alright.
John F. Hinckley attempted to assassinate Ronald Reagan. Reagan was shot in the left lung, with the bullet just missing his heart. In the melee, Hinckley also shot a Secret Service agent, as well as Press Secretary James Brady, who was hit in the head and critically wounded. James Brady's injury would eventually turn into law.
12 years ago, my life was changed forever by a disturbed young man with a gun.
On November 30th of 1993, President Bill Clinton signed the Brady Bill into law.
Don't tell me this bill will not make a difference. That is not true.
On April 13th, the Washington Post's Janet Cook was awarded the Pulitzer Prize for a feature she wrote. It was the harrowing profile of the life of little Jimmy. She described the needle marks freckling the skin of his thin brown arms. Shocking, yes. If it was true. 2 days after the prize had been awarded, the Post admitted they were due. Cook resigned and returned to Pulitzer. AAA baseball teams, the Pawtucket Red Sox and the Rochester Red Wings, played the longest game in professional baseball history. The pitching duel went 33 innings and lasted 8 hours and 25 minutes. Over 32 innings were played. By 4 a.m., the players were delirious from exhaustion, with 19 fans left in the bleachers at 4:07. The 33rd and final inning was played several months later. Pawtucket won the game, 3-2, on June 23rd, 1981. On April 24th, the Center for Disease Control records that Ken Horn, resident of San Francisco, had Kaposi sarcoma. Later in 1981, the CDC would go back and correct Horn's medical records, retroactively identifying him as the first patient of the AIDS epidemic in the U.S. On May 1st, Billie Jean King didn't so much come out of the closet as she was kicked out by the woman she had a 10-year romantic relationship with while she was married. King, already a world-class tennis champion with 5 Wimbledon titles under her belt, when on May 2nd, Marilyn Barnett filed an alimony lawsuit for lifetime support.
But oh my God, that's just horrible.
On May 1st, American Airlines was the first. When they launched American Airlines Advantage, the first frequent flyer loyalty program. Money can't buy life were Bob Marley's last words to his son Ziggy. Marley passed from skin cancer. The melanoma had spread from under his toe, a symptom of already existing cancer, not by an injury during a football match as the incorrect reports first stated. Marley was only 36 years old when he passed. Flash forward to 3 years later on May 8th of 1984, when Bob Marley's Legend would be released, which would end up in just about every college student's music collection ever. On May 13th in St. Peter's Square in Vatican City, Mehmet Ali Agca attempted to assassinate Pope John Paul II. The Pope was struck 4 times, suffering severe blood loss. Agca willingly. The Pope visited Agca in the prison cell he was to spend the rest of his life. They spoke privately for some time, and the Pope said they became friends.
He said this week that he'd applied for Polish citizenship, but had been turned down.
Originally written in 1974 for Rod Stewart, Betty Davis Eyes by Kim Carnes would hit #1 on May 16th and stay in the charts for the next 9 weeks. Very few fast food culinary creations have quite the lore around them as the McRib. A creation of both an animal scientist and a fine dining chef, the McRib is the fast food white whale, appearing seemingly at random and disappearing just as quickly. McRib would go on to be on and off McDonald's menu for years, first vanishing in 1985. Returning in 1994.
This May, it's McDonald's McRib sandwich.
then doing farewell tours in 2005.
It's McRib time.
2006.
McRib is back.
And 2007.
It's back.
The McRib. It's hard to be sad about something that's gone when it's never really left. A daredevil by the name of Daniel Goodwin climbed the Sears Tower in Chicago, all while wearing a Spider-Man costume on May 25th. Goodwin was able to climb the 1,454-foot, 110-story building, not from being bitten by a radioactive spider, but by using suction cups and hooks. After he triumphantly reached the summit of Sears, Goodwin was greeted with handcuffs. Spider-Man was charged with misconduct, criminal trespass, and criminal damage to property.
Dan Goodwin has captured the imagination of the public as well as his.
The month of June featured a mix of famous media moments.
Sometimes I feel I'm scared to live.
You cannot be serious! That ball was on the line! The shot flew up!
The Solar Challenger succeeded in completing the 165-mile flight across the English Channel on July 7th. It was the world's first solar-powered airplane to do so. Oh, how sweet it is. Because on the same day, artificial sweetener, or aspartame, was approved by the FDA. 2 days later, on July 9th, the barrel thrower appearance in arcades across America. Creator Shigeru Miyamoto was tasked with redesigning a game called Radar Scope, based on the love triangle between Popeye, Olive Oyl, and Bluto. Nintendo couldn't get the rights to the characters, so the game was repositioned as a gorilla, a carpenter, and his girlfriend. Flash forward to 1982 when Donkey Kong Jr. debuted. The carpenter would be changed to a plumber, and his name was switched to Mr. Video, then Jumpman, and finally Mario. Extra fun fact, Mario was named after Mario Segale, the landlord of a Nintendo business in the Seattle area.
Kurt Russell stars in John Carpenter's science fiction action classic, New York.
On July 17th, 1981, two walkways collapsed at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Kansas City, Missouri, one directly above the other. They crashed onto an event with approximately 1,000 guests, which was being held in the hotel's lobby, killing 114 people and injuring 216 others. The OG royal wedding on July 29th was between Lady Diana Spencer and Prince Charles, which was watched by a global TV audience estimated around 750 million people. This storybook franchise would last until August 28th, when Di and Charles's divorce settlement was finalized. Tragedy would strike almost a year to the day later when Di perished in an automobile accident in Paris in late August of 1997.
The Mercedes 600 carrying the princess, her Egyptian companion Dodi Al-Fayed, emerged from the tunnel a complete crumpled wreck.
If any network defined the 80s, it was MTV.
This is it. Web TV music television.
Bullshit! How many bolts does this thing take? Man, it's getting sketchy today.
On August 3rd, the Air Traffic Controllers Union declared a strike. Reagan declared their strike a peril to national safety and ordered them back to work.
If they do not report for work within 48 hours, they have forfeited their jobs and will be...
Only 1,300 of the nearly 13,000 controllers returned. How did Reagan respond? 2 days later, on August 5th, Reagan fired the 11,345 striking air traffic controllers who had ignored the order and banned them from federal service for life. Staying with Reagan, 1 day later, on August 4th, 1981, Oliver North was assigned to the White House National Security Council. He served as a lobbyist, focusing his efforts on Central America. We may hear back from Oliver in the coming years. The IBM personal computer, commonly known as the IBM PC, was introduced on August 12, 1981.
IBM made its personal computer.
Your family owned one in the 80s? O'Connor was nominated to the Supreme Court by President Reagan on August 19th.
The only significant opposition has come from abortion opponents.
The subject of abortion is a valid one, in my view, for legislative action, subject to any constitutional restraints or limitations.
Hanna-Barbera shaped America's animated lives with Yogi Bear, the Jetsons, and Hong Kong Phooey, struck blue gold with the introduction of Papa Smurf, Brainy, and Smurfette on September 12, 1981. La 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 la. Now try to get that out of your head.
I'll get you. I'll get all of you. It's the last thing I ever do.
Switching channels, 2 days later on September 14th.
What you are witnessing is real. The People's Court.
The Honorable Judge Joseph Walker.
If you had the dog on a leash.
Rusty, his faithful bailiff. And mild-mannered announcer Doug Llewellyn.
Don't resort to taking the law into your own hands.
With a debut lineup for the long-running People's Court. Los Angeles Dodgers pitcher and rookie phenom Fernando Valenzuela threw his 8th shutout of the season, tying a 68-year-old record set in 1913 by Reb Russell of the Chicago White Sox. Recorded by Olivia Newton-John and released as a single on September 28th, Physical not only flew to #1 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100, it stayed there for 10 weeks, an 80s record. Sticking with music, a relatively unknown multi-instrumentalist by the name of Prince was the opener for the Rolling Stones at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. The Sun-Baked Stones audience was rowdy, booing Prince off the stage, pelting him with bottles, fruit, coins, and food. Flash forward to June 25th, 1984, when Purple Rain would debut. The album would go on to sell over 17 million copies throughout the 80s. On October 20th, the Weather Underground organization